Big D, your mission, should you choose it, is to review the rest of the Mission Impossible films since you've already reviewed the first film 2 years ago. With the new film just a week away, we wish you the best of luck in reviewing the other Mission Impossible films. Good luck. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. I'm gonna have all the luck I need. Ding, 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 ding. Here's my review of Mission Impossible 2. Big Days Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2000 action spy flick Mission Impossible 2, released by Paramount, directed by John Woo, and produced by and starring Tom Cruise once again as Agent Ethan Hunt, in the second installment of the Mission Impossible film series. Also starring Dougray Scott, Thandie Nguyen, Richard Roxburgh, John Polson, Brendan Gleeson, and Ving Rhames. This time around, Ethan Hunt teams with professional thief Nia Nordhoff Hall to find but not destroy a genetically modified disease held by Rogue Impossible Missions Force agent Sean Ambrose, who is Nordhoff Hall's former lover. This film was released on May 24th, 2000, and this would be a big hit and was formerly my favorite until I got to see the later films after Mission Impossible 3. Now, before I get started on the story, if you haven't seen my review of the first Mission Impossible, click on that card and you can see my review in case you might have missed it, since it was 2 years since I reviewed the first Mission Impossible. So in case you might have missed it, or if you want to see it again. That's right. And since you heard me in the beginning do my own little impersonation of a little bit of that intro before the title card of Mission Impossible 2, I'm going to review the rest of the Mission Impossible sequels since we're just a week away from Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Okay, let the times go through. Okay, on with the story. Dr. Vladimir Nikovich, a biogenetic scientist, sends a message to IMF for Dmitri, who happens to be Ethan Hunt's cover name, his old friend. He warns that his employer, Biosite Pharmaceuticals, forced him to develop a biological weapon to profit from the cure. He injects himself with the Chimera virus and carries its remedy, Bellerophon, in a bag. However, IMF agent Sean Ambrose, who was disguised as Dmitri, goes rogue, betrays Nikovich, and steals Bellerophon. IMF director Swanbeck informs Ethan about Ambrose's wrongdoings and tasks him with recovering the virus and its cure. Yes, henceforth we get to see Hunt climbing a big mountain. Well, kind of a mountaintop style. Well, I think you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, back to the story. He has him recruit Nia Nordhoff Hall, a professional thief presently operating in Seville, Spain, and Ambrose's ex-girlfriend. Despite her initial reluctance, Ethan gets her to trace Ambrose to Sydney, Australia, where Biosite Laboratories is located. Ethan assembles his team, computer hacker Luther Stickle, and helicopter pilot Billy Baird, and heads to Sydney while Nia rekindles her relationship with Ambrose. Ambrose meets with Biosite CEO John McCloy and shows him a video of Chimera infecting one of Nekovich's colleagues before blackmailing McCloy into cooperating with him. Nia steals the memory card the video is stored on and delivers it to Ethan. They learn that Chimera has a 20-hour dormant period before symptoms show, and Bellerophon can only save the victim if used within that window. When Nia discreetly returns the memory card, Ambrose notices her mistakenly placing it in the wrong pocket of his jacket. Ethan's team kidnaps McCloy for information and discovered that the only Bellerophon samples were taken by Nikovich and are now in Ambrose's hands. However, Ambrose does not have the virus, and he was not aware of Nekrovich injected himself with it. Ethan plans to break into Biosite headquarters to destroy the virus, but Ambrose poses as Ethan tricks Naya into revealing their plan and is one step ahead. Ethan destroys all but one sample of Chimera before Ambrose's team engages him in a firefight. At a stalemate, Ambrose orders Naya to retrieve the virus, but she injects herself with it instead and begs Ethan to kill her to destroy the virus. Ethan refuses and is forced to leave her behind as he flees the facility, promising to get her the cure. Ambrose releases Naya to wander the streets of Sydney, intending to start a pandemic. He offers to sell Bellerophon to McCloy in exchange for stock options to make him billions as Biosite's majority stockholder. Now, I'm going to go to the ending and final act. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Ethan infiltrates the meeting and engages in a fight with Ambrose's right-hand man, Hugh Stamp, with the latter seemingly winning. He brings a subdued Ethan to Ambrose, who executes him. However, he discovers that Ethan tricked him by having Stamp disguise as him while he stole the remaining samples of Bellerophon. Enraged, Ambrose and his men give chase after him. While Ethan is pursued by Ambrose's men, Luther and Billy locate Naya, who has wandered to a cliffside to kill herself and prevent an outbreak. Ethan kills Ambrose's men with some help from Luther and beats Ambrose in a brutal fistfight on a beach. With little time left on the 20-hour countdown, Luther reaches Ethan at the beach. Ambrose tries one last time to shoot Ethan, but Ethan throws the cure to Luther and dodges away before kicking up a pistol from the sand and fatally shooting Ambrose. Luther injects Naya with a Bellerophon just in time, and the IMF clears Naya's criminal record, and Ethan starts a vacation with her in Sydney. End of story. So what did I think of Mission Impossible 2? Well, to be honest, I loved it. This was probably one of the greats and what have you. Well, again, as I've said before, this was formerly my favorite of the franchise, but now it's gone down a bit, but I'll rank the franchise once Part 2 of Dead Reckoning comes around, okay? But anyway, I thought this was so incredible. This film was the biggest film of the summer of 2000, beating out even Gladiator and The Perfect Storm. Anyway, now I also have a special edition video cassette of it, but it's locked up in storage. But be thankful for Paramount Plus. I got to revisit it for the first time in some time, and I gotta say, it was awesome. When it started out, it managed to become the 4th highest grossing Wednesday opening when it opened exclusively on Wednesday behind Man in Black, Independence Day, and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And also, at that time, it had the largest number of screens, playing in over 3,600 theaters, beating Scream 3. It would go on to hold the record until Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone surpassed it the following year. Anyway, it grossed $57 million, crossed over Toy Story 2 to have the 3rd highest grossing opening weekend of all time, behind The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Phantom Menace. Moreover, it surpassed its predecessor for not only having the highest grossing opening weekend for a film based on a TV show, but also the largest opening weekend for any Paramount film. And also, it's dethroned Austin Powers' Spy Who Shagged Me, which came out the previous year, for scoring the biggest opening weekend for a spy film. That would be held for the next few years until the 3rd Austin Powers when it came out, Goldmember. And then, in 3 years after that, War of the Worlds surpassed the film to have the highest grossing opening for a Paramount film, which also had Mr. Cruz. And then, you guess it, the Simpsons movie surpassed the biggest opening weekend. Oh, you get the point for everything. The film opened at number 1. holding off Disney's Dinosaur and held on to the #1 spot for 2 weeks until it was taken by the Gone in 60 Seconds remake, which I know a lot of people hated that one though, but still, the film went on to make $546 million worldwide. Now, here's kind of an issue I'm finding. This is the only film in the franchise that's in rotten status on Rotten Tomatoes. What's up with that? I'd say these people just aren't getting it through their blooming heads. I'm saying Rotten Tomatoes, I liked this movie. And they've got it at 56% Rotten. Some of you people better help me out and give us good reviews. That needs to be changed. However, they do say your cranium may crave more substance, but your eyes will feast on the amazing action sequences. Yes, I do agree on that. That's the reason why I liked this film, because it had great action sequences. Which reminds me, this will also be the highest grossing film for director John Woo, surpassing his own Face Off, which came out 3 years before this. And of course, it was also the highest grossing film in the Mission Impossible series until Ghost Protocol in 2011. Now, critics were mixed on this. Now, they did like the action sequences and Woo's direction. However, it unfortunately received criticism for the characterization. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm just going to say, who cares? I mean, I liked what the characters were, you know. Now, Roger Ebert says, if the first movie was entertaining as sound, fury, and movement, this one is more evolved, more confident, more sure-footed in the way it marries minimal character development to seamless action. Entertainment Weekly felt the film was a throwaway pleasure, but also a triumph of souped-up action. LA Weekly said every car chase, every plane crash, every potential drop off a cliff is a masterpiece of grace and surprise. Definitely. But anywho, I thought it was so awesome. Now, for our cast, Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt. He's still good and what have you. Dougray Scott plays Sean Ambrose, great villain. Thandie Newton, this would be the first film I got introduced to her. She plays Naya Noyoff Hall, and I'm gonna say she was so amazing. Richard Roxburgh, who I would later see in Moulin Rouge and Van Helsing and a few other films, played Hugh Stamp. He was good. John Polson played Billy Baird. He was good. Brendan Gleeson, who before this I saw in Lake Placid. I'd also see him in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire and the Smurfs 2 and several other films. He played John McCloy, and Rade Zija, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce that last name, played Dr. Nekovich. And Ving Rhames returns from the first film as Luther Stickle. Additionally, we have Anthony Hopkins as Mission Commander Swanbeck, but of course he was uncredited. But anyway, the cast, you'll know, was good too. Now, this time they have Hans Zimmer on board to do the score. They had Danny Elfman do the score for the last film. But Hans Zimmer's score for the film, I'm thinking, was awesome. Another thing I liked about it was the music and what have you. There were 2 sets released. There was the score album from Hans Zimmer, and then there was the soundtrack, which was music from and inspired by, which of course I actually own that. It features 2 great songs, which were big hits: "I Disappear" by Metallica and "Take a Look Around" by Limp Bizkit, which of course is a rendition of the classic Mission Impossible theme, which I thought was pretty cool. Overall, Mission Impossible 2, I don't care what they say about the characterization, I had a blast with it. So overall, would I recommend Mission Impossible 2? The answer is hell yeah. Definitely. If you've seen it in my view, then I'm still saying hell yeah. But if you are a hardcore, but you can also give us a one-time watch if you wish. If you're a hardcore completionist. So anyway, Mission Impossible 2, I think it was awesome. But what did you think of Mission Impossible 2? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you my review of Mission Impossible 3, which would come out 6 years later. So, I do hope you enjoy this, and if you did, check out my reviews for, well, these two Tom Cruise films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of one of his early films, Top Gun from 1986. The upper right-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of this monster hit long-awaited sequel from last year, Top Gun Maverick. Or, if you'd like, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see, well, a recent hit for Paramount, which is my spoiler-free review of Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.